Every morning at 4 a.m., Annie wakes up, boils milk to make coffee, and waters the plants. An hour later, she checks her mother-in-law's blood sugar after she wakes up. 2 hours later, she brings coffee to her husband, who just woke up. Then, she goes downstairs to prepare breakfast. Time was tight that particular day. He scalded his hand, but had no time to treat it. Her husband was about to leave for work. After seeing him off, she continued cleaning and cooking, waiting for him to return home. This was a typical day for him. While her mother-in-law lounged around watching TV all day, Annie worked tirelessly without ever complaining. Her husband was her campus crush, a wealthy and handsome man. He recently got promoted, and the couple was set to move to London. Thrilled, Annie threw a big party at home. In the midst of the festivities, her husband suddenly received news that he could only be second in command in London. Furious, he went to argue with his boss. Sensing trouble, Annie tried to intervene, but unexpectedly her husband hit her. Stunned, Annie stood frozen as her husband stormed off, surrounded by family and friends. That slap instantly turned her from the envied center of attention into a laughingstock. Shell-shocked, he walked through the crowd like a zombie. As soon as she returned to the bedroom, her mother-in-law came, not to comfort him, but to tell him to go back down and entertain the guests. After everyone left, Annie sat downstairs for a long time to compose herself. When she finally went back to the bedroom, her husband was already asleep. He didn't apologize the next morning either. Annie could understand his impulsiveness in the heat of the moment, but she couldn't fathom why he refused to say sorry. Neither her husband nor her mother-in-law offered a single word of comfort. Only worrying about her son's feelings, Annie began suffering from insomnia night after night. She took care of her husband and checked her mother-in-law's blood sugar as usual, but the smile on her face was gone. Eventually, her husband noticed her low spirits and took her out for dinner. However, at the table, he only talked about work. Annie couldn't focus at all, haunted by that slap that stung like a thorn in her heart. What was even more unacceptable to her was that everyone seemed to think it was normal. Even her own mother told her to endure it, saying her son-in-law didn't mean it. But Annie refused to let it go. She confronted her husband, telling him she couldn't continue living with her. To her shock, her husband showed no remorse and even accused her of being too dramatic, telling her to get out of the house.